Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. It is a beautiful morning. Supposed to have some rain coming in, I think, this evening. So we're going to take advantage of yet another beautiful day God's given us and get some stuff ready for spring. We just got the chickens moved. I didn't want to bore you with that. I know y'all have seen that a million times if you've been watching us for any amount of time. Me and Andy were just, again, having a discussion over the chickens and this house that's a little too much overkill, but at the time when we built it, you know, sounded good at the time. So I don't know what we'll end up doing about that, but we just need an easier way to manage them and still be able to move them around.
We were just talking about our chickens, and she may have mentioned some of this, but I really think I'm at the point where I'm ready to scale back and do something different with these chickens. Because at one time, our goal was to sell eggs, to sell whole chickens, to sell beef, to sell, you know, all that good stuff to the public. And y'all, it's just something we don't exactly have time for, do we?
Right.
And it's not profitable enough to make us make time for it.
Everybody and their brother around here, we live in a very rural part of North Carolina, and everybody and their brother has chickens. My biggest time for selling eggs is during the winter. And if
when
I
nobody
can,
else's chickens are laying.
Right. If I can time my chickens right, my young chickens to be laying during the winter, that's my most profitable time with eggs. But I'm telling y'all, in the spring and the summer, I can't hardly give them away. Just because so many people here, literally every other person has chickens.
And you have to charge so much for them. Like, you feel bad about charging so much for them, but if you want to make a profit off of them, heck, if you want to break even off of them, not even make a profit, if you want to break even off of them, I mean, we have to charge $5 a dozen.
Yeah, to break even.
To break even, and that's, you know, counting the feed, and that's not even counting any labor and time and everything we put into them. So the chicken house itself has got repairs that need to be done to it, or the egg mobile, whatever you want to call it. The net has some issues because it's getting a few years old now, and there's just, you know, it'll last us probably another season or so, but it's getting to the point too where it's going to have to be replaced, and y'all know that Premier One netting is not cheap. So I don't know. We have really considered just doing enough chickens to give us our eggs that we need and not worrying about the rest of it, because when we go to sell them, we can't hardly make enough money to pay back the feed bill.
Right.
I mean, that's the honest truth about it. And, you know, there's a lot of YouTubers on there who say selling eggs their most profitable thing on the farm. Well, more power to them. I would enjoy the farmer's market deal because you get to talk to so many of your customers, but at the same time, you know, where we both still work throughout the week, you know, our weekends are our time to be home and doing the stuff we need to do. And if we're gone all day on a Saturday or something at a farmer's market, well, there's a day shot. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't know. That's something that we really considering is figuring out. I don't know if I want to do something and actually make a stationary coop and keep deep bedding in it all the time, something like that.
I want something little that we can still move.
Or do something kind of like those Justin Rhodes chicken tractors where it's little and it's very easy to move around. I don't know. She really wants to keep moving around. Honestly, I hate fooling with this net.
But if it was little enough, I could do it.
I know you could. I know you could.
I could do it like myself.
I absolutely hate Premier One netting. Am I the only one? Somebody else come comment on here and tell me if I'm the only one that hates it, because all of your, you know, people use it when they do move stuff around like this, but
it's a good concept.
It is a good concept, but it is a pain in the, you know what. But anyways, so that's something we're considering. We don't know exactly where it's going to go. Chances are right now we're just going to keep doing what we got doing, but we are considering doing something else and thinking of ideas to do. And if we're going to do it, I'd kind of like to do it before spring so I could go ahead and get it done and be here and ready to go. But y'all let us know y'all's thoughts on that. Yeah, just let us know what y'all think. But we've got 2 other things I'd really like to get done today, or 3. We want to go out here. You might remember from the garden tour video, we had a tree that was shading the garden out here by the house. And while I'm not gonna cut the tree down, I wanna cut a couple of the lower limbs off of it and hopefully open that up some to where some more sunlight will come in. I've got a really small raised bed I kind of want to rig up out there in that garden. And then we also have an idea for this hillside over here, which we might not even get to that today. So let's just see where the day goes. So the limb we've got to cut is right over here. I would cut more off of this tree, but they're pretty high up. And then also, I would like to just cut the tree down, but the tree is leaning right over the main road up there. And yeah, I'm not in the mood to deal with that today. We'd have to block traffic and everything if we cut that.
And we've asked about if the state would do it, and
yeah, it ain't fail.
Yeah.
So maybe one of these days it'll fall. Hopefully not on nobody, but it'll fall, and then our tree will be taken care of. Oh me. Anyways, we're gonna cut this big limb off the bottom. That's the main thing that really shades out this garden. And I think as far as our chickens go, I mean, we're probably still gonna keep them mobile because that is nice. It's a nice way to keep everything clean. And you know, like I've said before in previous videos, I'm pretty sure keeping them chickens mobile helps with the predator pressure too, just because the predators really can't figure out where they're at, where they stay mobile all the time, and then that electric netting keeps the predators from getting in there to the chickens too. But I don't know,
Andy loves the netting.
Yeah, that's it. That's my thing. I have a love-hate relationship with that netting. I really truly believe that we couldn't keep chickens like we do, even if they were in a stationary coop that was fenced off with top on it and everything. Somehow or another, predators always figure out how to get into that stuff. They're smart.
Well, we have a lot of raccoons too.
But having that netting with the power on it really seems to just deter any predators ever. But like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with that stuff. I get aggravated every time I go to move a chicken. But anyways, probably doesn't help that we have 50 million rocks around here and the netting won't go in the ground, and all the stobs are bent on the netting because of the fact that we have 50 million rocks. But I guess that's just part of it. Every once in a while you got to rant about something, right? So let's get this here limb cut and see if we can do it without it falling on the fence and tearing up anything. I really need to cut that one up above it. Man, I wish I could reach that. Crap. It's a tight spot to work, ain't it?
You know what I said?
Why?
You're gonna get your butt shot. take much.
It couldn't have took one more hit though.
Yeah, I bet not.
I think one more hit, it would have broken. So we got that one limb down. It did fall on the fence, but thumbs up, it didn't break it. All it done was bend it just a little bit. This is a perfect example of why you need to cut trees that are potentially going to be in your way before you build your fences. Maybe one of these days we'll take our own advice and do stuff like that. But I knew these two trees right here were going to be problems. The reason I didn't fool with them was because both of them are leaning towards the road. But we could have, if I'd have done this before we built the fences, we could have tied a rope up in them and pulled them that way.
But that fence been there for a long time.
Yeah, but remember I took it all down and redone it a while back when we cut all those trees against the barn. Oh, yes, right. So I should have took that time to do it then. But guess what? Old Andy got in a hurry and said, I want my fence up right now. And did it. And now I wish that I would have just took the extra time to cut those two trees. And the problem is, not necessarily the tree itself, it's the limbs that hang over the garden. So the sun comes up in this direction and goes across the sky like this. Well, yeah, these trees right here block the morning sun as well. But once it gets up high in the middle of the sky, then it's full sun from then on out. Well, the problem is this tree and that tree, where their limbs hang over the garden, it's actually shading it longer than just once the sun gets above these trees. So this little corner of the garden right here, I mean, it don't start getting sun till on up after lunch, or right around lunchtime anyways, during the summer. So that really hinders any type of production that goes on in this corner. But that's going to help us. That'll definitely help us. It would be nice to get the next limb up above it, but it's just too high. So, like I said, it's definitely going to help. We'll see how it does this summer, I guess. Now I gotta get this mess cleaned up. I'll probably pile these branches up somewhere or another, and we might chip them later on or do something. I don't know. I may just put them on the brush pile. I'm not sure. But next thing I want to do is this little raised bed we've got in the edge of the garden here. I want to extend it on out to almost the end, not quite the end. I don't want it in the way of the gate, but I want to extend it on out, fill it full of compost.
When we extend out this bed, I think this is just going to be for tomatoes, and we're not even going to plant any tomatoes out in our main garden area. I put up, I don't even know how many jars of tomato-based products, and it's at least 2 years worth. Like, I have plenty of like spaghetti sauce. The only thing I may do is do some canned tomatoes, but that don't take many. It's not like tomato juice, but I made bukus of tomato juice. I made bukus of spaghetti sauce. I can't even remember what all I made, but it was a lot. And so this year, that's kind of how we judge things. Like, we go down there and we look in the pantry to see what we have and what we need to utilize extra space for. This year, tomatoes don't need to take up much space because we don't really need any.
In all honesty, we probably will get enough tomatoes to do everything you need to do off of that right there. Because we had a couple tomato plants planted in this that were just some spares, I guess you'd say, extra plants. And man, they produced good. So
I think it was a good year for tomatoes.
Yeah, if we've got just that whole, well, it'll be almost like having a whole row out here in the garden, except they'll be up here against the fence. But if we can have that whole area of tomatoes, I think we'll get quite a few off of it.
And one thing me and him were talking about is it'll be nice being along the fence because we can just tie the tomatoes to the fence.
Sort of utilize the fence as our tomato trellis, I guess you would say. And we were even thinking about right out here in the front, because we don't really eat a lot of squash. So
I need like one squash plant.
Yeah, we're just going to stick in a couple of squash plants right here in the very front of this bed, and we won't waste any space out here. If anybody's wondering why the garden looks like it does, we've had the cows in here. And that's another nice thing about cover crops is as long as you can manage your cows to wherever you've got cover crop, or not just cows, any type of livestock, chickens, sheep, goats, of course the cows.
But the goat didn't really.
Yeah, our goats didn't. Now, other goats might.
Yeah.
Lovey's kind of funny about what he eats anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, that's one nice thing about having our garden right here beside this pasture is like all we have to do is open that gate.
And we did that on purpose when we redid the fence.
Exactly. It was all in design. When we redone this fence, we put a gate over there so we could let whatever's in there into the garden spot. And it's not something we do a lot, but, you know, the grass is slacking out there. So we had them in here for a couple of days, let them graze down on it. This is the second time they've grazed it this winter. And it actually had grew quite a bit from the warm days we've had, so we decided to let them in it again. And but they've really done a number on that clover this time. But we might turn them in to graze one more time before springtime. We'll just see how good the clover grows, because I don't want to graze it down to the point that I don't have nothing to till back under. But it is nice because there's little pats of cow manure everywhere out there.
Yep.
So,
free fertilizer.
Yeah, I mean, all of that helps out. I just don't want to do it while it's really wet. So that's another reason we turned them in it this week, is because it had finally dried out just a little bit and they wouldn't be in there miring up to their knees in what's in that soft garden soil. So let's get these limbs out of the way, Megan, and we'll work on that. That really probably won't take long because I'm not going to do much with it. So let's get these limbs out of the way and see what we can do. So next, what we're going to do is make this raised bed come out to about right here. I don't want to get it up here in the way of the gate. And so this will just kind of be like a one-sided raised bed. The top side, where this sort of slopes, you probably can't tell that on camera, but this ground has a slope to it, and so that one is the same way, where we've just got a board on the bottom holding back the dirt, and then up here at the top it's actually level. So we're going to do this one right here the same way, and then every time it rains extremely hard, water runs right through here. So having this across here will sort of help with that. It'll help slow that water down and it'll sink in instead of running off. But anyways, I've got some old oak boards over here that really I just kind of need them out of my way. They're not really good for much of anything because the sawmill was not cutting right at the time when I sawed these logs up, and I've got a lot of waves in the board and stuff like that, so they're not really that great of boards, but they are made out of oak, and oak is a little more rot resistant than, say, pine or something like that. So that's why we're going to be using them here. And this will kill two birds with one stone here. I'll be getting these boards out of my way, and I'll be actually putting them to good use. So
don't step in the free fertilizer.
Yeah, and don't step in that briar right there either. I dumped in here. Jacob, you can pick up these little blocks if you want to take them somewhere. Let's see. I just hope we got enough wood here to do it.
Probably.
Well, it's 13 feet there.
I hope.
Daggone bird got me.
I done moved one of them. All right.
Taking these turnips to meals.
Yeah, we don't much eat turnips, do we?
Does not look like a tiger track.
I believe that's a cow track.
I bet cow's been eating it.
Probably. Look right there.
What?
You see that one?
That!
There's you a decent one. Shake the dirt off of it.
Now, we're gonna have to take a mattock and dig it right there out. And we'll put a board running straight up towards the fence. Then we'll put another layer on top. Y'all see how far that old bed's pushed out?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. See how far that old bed's pushed out there? That's supposed to be a straight line across there, but it's just over time.
That's the first one we ever built.
Yeah, that was the very first raised bed we had up here at all. Alright, I'm gonna cut what I need here. I didn't even need a mattock. That's so soft. Hey Jacob, run and get your new lever. Alright.
It's looking good.
Shaping up now. Now we just need to put one more board across the top, and I'm gonna put in another one of these stakes to help hold it in.
What did you do? Get cow poop on it?
Yep, sure looks that way, don't it? Here. Those are treated boards, regular treated boards. Which it didn't really bend the board. It just pushed it out where I've got it tied together.
Yeah.
Alright, there's one more board, then we gotta cut that. Screw it. Hammer down on it. There you go. Lord. Alright. Now, do it on that one and that one out there.
You got this, don't you?
It don't look too bad for some boards that were probably going to be thrown away or burnt or something like that. So I'm pretty tickled with this. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's gonna look really good. I can't wait to see stuff growing in it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, y'all. My OCD sort of kicks in when I see one board thinner than the other. But knowing that after, like this one right here used to be perfect, and now it looks like that. So, I mean, it's just out here in the garden. It'll be all right. But
It'll serve its purpose.
it'll serve its purpose, and like we said, it's using wood that really isn't much good for anything else because of the way it was cut. So,
Why is it cut like this?
because that's back when the sawmill was, the rollers and everything were messed up on it, and I didn't realize it. It's my fault, but it's fixed now. But I like it.
I do too. I'm excited about it. It's getting closer and closer to spring, and we just keep seeing signs. So.
I know, and when you do something like this, like, I'm not going to fill it with dirt today because I've got one more thing I need to do before it rains.
It got tomato cages in it.
But when you start doing things like this right here, you know, even though I'm not exactly ready for spring yet because we've just got so much to do before spring starts, but at the same time, it sort of gets you excited about it. So I still got some more scrap wood. I'm not going to do this today, but I really think we were talking about it, and I think we might build a bed down this back fence line too. And we could plant some stuff like green beans or cucumbers or whatever and let them.
It would make a good herb garden.
Or that. I mean,
That would actually.
whatever we plant on this very back side though need to be something that can tolerate a little more shade. And I've found out through the years that green beans can tolerate more shade than most vegetables can. But yeah, I mean, if some of your herbs and stuff, that would work. We could put it, because we still have to leave it out of the way of that gate down there. So we couldn't go all the way to the corner. But this whole little spot right here is sort of like wasted space because we can't plant anything over there, because I can't get the tractor over there close enough to the fence to till it up. And so if we put a raised bed in it, then I don't know, it would work better. We might do that. I think that would work really good. That would be a good spot for some perennial type stuff that's going to stay there, like a lot of herbs are. So now we're back out here on the hillside, where we call the hillside garden.
Right next to the pig lot.
Right below the pig lot, yep. We actually got the road fixed and in pretty good shape, so we've got a lot of rain coming tomorrow, and I'm interested to see if it holds up. We might, before this video's over with, walk down through there and just show the other culvert pipe and everything.
All right.
But anyways, getting sidetracked. I'm good at that. So we were talking about this area right here in that one video about how we need to fix our water problem.
You see the washes if you missed that video.
You see the washes here. I mean, they're pretty bad, but a lot of water, I think, comes off the top of the pig building there. So that's something that I probably need to address too. And a lot of people actually mentioned putting some type of water catchment on the back of the pig building. And I think that's a great idea, and that's something I've wanted to do for a long time. It's just one of those things that we ain't never done. So that would solve part of this problem. So the next thing was people were talking about putting in swales and terraces and stuff like that. Well, I just happened to be watching a YouTube video the other evening.
What's that fella's name?
Farmhand's Companion. I really like his videos, especially the older videos where he don't really do no talking. And it's just him working and playing a little bit of music, and he does everything the old-fashioned way. Some of y'all probably watch him.
If you don't, you should. We enjoy his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but he's, no frills, nothing like that. He's just plain and simple, tells you how to get stuff done. And he was talking about, which I kind of just hadn't really thought about it. See, on a hillside he had, they put down logs and just laid the logs level with the hill, and then held them in place with some stakes, and then the water itself naturally washes stuff up against that log. So you eventually, if you put log, you eventually end up with like a terraced hillside. It's just that you don't have to do the terracing, Mother Nature does it for you. So instead of using logs, what I was thinking, I was like, well, we've still got a ton of scrap boards, sawmill slabs, stuff like that. And, once they rot out, which I'm sure they won't last maybe 2-3 years at the most, maybe 4 if we're lucky. Once they rot out, you just replace it with another board. And I mean, that's something that seems like we're probably going to have an abundance of for quite a while. It's sawmill slabs and just jacked up boards that really ain't good for nothing else. So to show you what I'm talking about here, of course we'll have to, Tiger, honey, I don't want to play with you right now. Of course we'll have to rake this mulch and smooth everything back out. But this board would sit level this way across the hill, and I'll run them level all the way out, as close to level as I can get. But if you have the board running, or the logs or whatever you use running with the hill, then the water's just going to wash down it instead of really slowing it down. So what we're after is when that water comes down this hill, we want it to just stop against this board, and then it'll probably run over and seep through or whatever, but we just want it to stop, so it'll slow this water down so it doesn't come down with so much force. And that should really help all of our erosion problem here. So I highly doubt we get this done today, but I did kind of want to
At least start on it
and see how it's going to work out for us. Because where we have so many established plants already on this hillside, we're going to kind of have to like pick and choose where we're going to put our boards. This is something that should have been done before anything was planted on it. But it's really something we didn't think about. So,
well, the hill hadn't washed this bad really until this year.
yeah, that's true too.
Because after we put the mulch on it, it kind of quit washing.
It's like the mulch held it together.
Yeah.
But this year it rained so much that it just washed the mulch out of its way. So I think this will actually work out great. And then if I find out that this isn't tall enough, well, then I'll just add a board to it to where to catch even more. And like I say, eventually, if we have enough boards out here, we'll sort of have a terraced hillside because everything naturally moves downhill. And so all this mulch and everything will eventually just keep working down the hill, and it'll all rest against the boards we have. So let's see what we can do about getting started with it. So I've got this board across here. I've got me some stakes made that I'm driving in right below it just to screw it to hold it in place. And then I'm putting it level with the contour of the ground. So right now that board is sitting perfectly level. The next board that I run out, I'll have it sitting perfectly level. It may not be in a straight line, but what the thought process is here, that these boards will run on contour around this hill. So I'll get this one put in, and I'll just keep on extending it. I'm probably not going to go all the way out to the edge. I'm just going to go where we're really having this water problem, and then we'll step down and repeat the process.
So we're almost finished for what we're gonna do today anyway. It ain't looking too shabby.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with how this is turning out. I'm very interested in seeing how it holds up. We have that one bad rut right there we've got to fill in. I think once I'm done, I'm gonna take and just rake a little bit of mulch across the bottom edge of it to sort of seal it off. But I gotta go get some dirt or get some more mulch or something to fill in that gully right up there.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
Yeah, that's the worst one in the whole thing. But I'm really pleased with this. I think this is gonna work out good, and you know, once these rot out, I'm not expecting them to last long at all. 2 years probably.
Max.
Will be max.
Yeah.
And so once they rot out, we'll just replace them with new ones. And then if it don't work, we just won't worry about replacing them. But I don't think I'm going to add any more until we see what the next rain is going to do and just see how they hold up for now. And if we figure out we need more, then we'll just add more in it. But this has got to be better than what we had. But well, before you go in and cook supper, let's walk down here and just show what kind of progress I've made on the road. So I was hoping that this road was going to dry out enough before our next rain comes to really get it smoothed up good. And for the most part, I've got it in really good shape, but it's still just wet. We're down in this hole here. This is the north facing slope over here. So this road right through here never ever sees sun this time of year. Now in summertime it will, but this time of year it don't. So it's almost like the water's just seeping out of the ground down here, and it's just wet. But once I'm done with all this, I think we're gonna just bite the bullet and put us a load of rock on it and just fix it right. Because even though it's a road that just goes to the garden and around the back side of the pasture and everything here, I still know that if we don't put rock on it, we're gonna end up in the same situation we were. So I think we're just gonna do it. But there's the first culvert pipe. I think y'all already seen that in one of the other videos. And then down through here is where the ditch was, the real bad ditch that was washed out. And I've pulled and pulled and pulled dirt, drug it from down there where it actually had washed and stopped down there. Been pulling it up through here, but this is where it's just got too muddy for me to drag it anymore. As you can see, like, you can't spread mud clods. So this is gonna have to really do some drying out before I do anything else to it. So we will definitely be staying off of this road until it dries up some. But so what else I've done is cut a ditch right down through here, and that's gonna hopefully catch all the water that runs off of the hill here, and then just shoot it right down the side of the road instead of running out into the road. And then put in another culvert pipe down here. It's starting right here and just runs under the road. Comes out right over here. This is actually 2 full sections of pipe, so that's 40 foot worth of pipe right there. And I know that's going to just shoot all that water right down into that creek there, but I'm hoping that with my future plans that all of this it won't be washing near as much sediment down through here as I have in the past. So like I said, I've got plans. There was tons of good suggestions on that video, and you know, some of those I think we're actually going to try to, in the long term here, do. We're going to see how this holds up to the next rain and just kind of work at it little by little and see how it goes. But I think this is going to work out really good for us. Anyways,
I'm going in to cook, I reckon.
what are we cooking?
Chicken enchiladas.
Sounds good, don't it?
Remember how I told y'all that when you cook a whole chicken that you have leftovers? Well, cooked the whole chicken again the other night, and I have leftovers, and so we decided enchiladas. Well, I decided enchiladas tonight.
I think enchilada sounds really good. I'm hungry now, and it's not even. It's 3:14. I feel like it ought to be about 6 o'clock.
It does feel late.
It does feel late. I think it's because it's so cloudy, and it's just, I don't know, we ain't really seen the sun all day today. But on the plus side, it was supposed to have been raining today.
Yep.
But I think it's a pretty much guaranteed thing. We're definitely going to have rain coming in tonight, and it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, and it's supposed to rain quite a bit on Monday.
Today's Saturday. You won't see this on Saturday.
Yeah, you're not going to see this. I'm sorry. So I don't want to confuse nobody, but yeah, we've got like 2 days ahead of us of full rain according to the weatherman. So we'll see.
Well, y'all, I guess that about wraps up today. I got my chicken enchiladas done.
They smell good.
Yeah, they do smell good. I ain't fixed them in a while, but
yeah, it's been a long time since we've had enchiladas. I'm excited about this.
Yep, so we're gonna fix us a plate here, and I reckon that's gonna wrap it up. And we sure appreciate all y'all watching. Leave us some comments down below. Anyways, till we see you on the next one.
Have a good one.
Y'all have a good one.